Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster with your hosts, Gaius and Jackson. Super exciting time this week. As of recording, we are 6 days away from basically Christmas 2.0 for us two, because the Oscars are being hosted live on Sunday, March the 10th. So this video today, we will be bringing you guys our predictions, what we think and what we hope are going to win at the big ceremony this Sunday. And of course, we got some new trailers that came out last week to break down for you guys as well, as long as some box office news. Super excited to jump into things today. Full disclosure too, I might sound like I'm sick, but bear with me. I got a bad case of the sniffles, just allergies. So apologies in advance if anyone hears
Yeah.
any
Also me. I had a long weekend and my voice is kind of shot. But I will.
I didn't say anything, but yeah, I didn't know if it was if
Yeah.
sick, if you're just partying hard. But
Oh
anyway,
no, that was definitely too much of a good time.
nice. Well, we both got our voices. Bear with us. It's a lot of exciting stuff to throw at you guys today. But without further ado, I'll let you handle what you want to cover first. I think we both got Variety's list of all the nominations in front of us. And I know I said that we will be breaking down what we think will win. Are we going to do what we also want to win if it's different than what we think is going to win? Or do you want to just handle one?
Good, I kind of like that too. I like that. Yeah.
To do both?
Do
okay.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds pretty typical.
Yeah.
I'll let you decide if you want to do the big one at the beginning or the end for Best Picture. You can decide that.
We can go big first. That's fine.
All right, sweet.
And these are our last and final predictions. We can't take them back after today. There's going to be a lot of going with our gut and going with our heart with some of these. But yeah, we will start with the big one for Best Picture. Just to remind all the listeners, that includes American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. That is a lot of good movies.
What a lineup this year. We've been blessed in 2023 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you got winning?
I got Oppenheimer winning, and I'm actually going to go with the should win. You know what's funny though is that we all talked about how much we love Past Lives, and that'd be really great if that snuck in and won, but it's not. And I think it's clear that it's Oppenheimer's year, and I'm fine with that. And,
nice.
I think it should win, and I think it will win.
Nice. Well, no surprise here. We are very much on the same page. Oppenheimer, I've been singing that movie's praises since well before it even came out. I want it to win, but that being said, this year, the Best Picture category is so stacked. There are several movies that if they were announced as the winner, I really wouldn't bat an eye. That'd be fine. But I am going to go with predicting Oppenheimer to win. But I'm with you. If I had a runner-up, Past Lives would be a contender for myself. I did recently see Poor Things, though. Loved that movie. I wouldn't be upset if that won anything. In fact, I have that movie winning a lot of the in some other categories. For my predictions. Yeah. The only one I haven't seen, I think it'd be important to note at this time. I definitely will get it in before the ceremony on Sunday. But American Fiction stands as the last Best Picture nominated movie I've not seen yet. Are there any that you haven't seen?
I have finally watched them all.
Nice.
And Entertainment Weekly ran a really interesting article about how American Fiction could win. It's not going to win, but they made a good argument for it being like an underdog. And it is a good movie. It's really well written. I hope a part of me, I think the only one that it can win is the screenplay award that it's nominated for.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind that because the screenplay is really good. Right. Yeah, they made a compelling argument, but I think it's just Oppenheimer has so much steam behind it right now. It's not
exactly.
I would be very shocked if we got La La Land Moonlight situation where you thought one was going to win and then something else did. But,
funny you say that. I was just having this conversation with my mother last night. She finally got around to watching La La Land. I've been trying to put her on that for so long. And so she saw it, loved it. And then we were inevitably, talking about the Oscars coming up. And I told her, I reminded her because we were, I think, watching together that year. I was like, La La Land was the movie that got all messed up when it came time to announce the Best Picture winner. So funny you bring that up. Yeah. It's a funny story I was reliving
last night. But yeah, glad she saw it. I would have watched it with her. Fantastic movie. That was my second favorite movie of that year.
Was Moonlight?
No,
Oh,
La La Land.
Arrival.
Arrival. Like I just like felt Arrival more. I love La
That
La
was a
Land, but like,
strong year too, man. Those movies are all
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. You know what's crazy is that Damien Chazelle. I just read this article over the weekend where he had a big bomb with Babylon, and he was kind of saying that he thinks it's gonna be a bit before his studio gets him that much money again. And I was like, he had like one box office bomb out of
Right.
all of his other movies have done reasonably well based on
Right.
budget and all that. And I was like, he has like one misfire, and now it's like, oh, we're not sure we can give you the money you need to like make another movie. And
Like,
I
where's the
just thought that was so
faith?
crazy.
It
Yeah, I
is
thought that was so
crazy.
crazy.
I mean, Whiplash. No surprise there. That movie is like one of the best I
Yeah,
think of the last 10 years. La La Land is incredible.
and I love Babylon too.
Babylon,
Oh,
fantastic.
Babylon
And
was great.
I always say this whenever it comes up. I'll never pass up an opportunity to sing the praises for First Man, his movie
Yeah,
with other movie with Ryan Gosling from I think 2018. I think it
I
was.
believe
Oh,
so. Yeah,
that movie got shunned everywhere. I mean, it has a good critical reception, but it didn't get any like major award love, I don't think.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
love that movie. I remember it being super, super snubbed when it came out. It was great. But anyway, Damien
yeah,
Chazelle, I think regardless of how much money he's working with for his next movie, that guy I think is going to do some wonderful things. Babylon was super, super impressive, destined to be a classic in in a few years when people come around to it. But yeah.
yeah.
On
I
the note
agree.
of directing, flip
Yeah,
flopping here, that's our next category. So a refresher too for those who are catching up here in the best director category nominees. We've got Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese, of course, up there with Killers of the Flower Moon, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Very diverse category in there. We got so many different countries represented in the director category.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
but
But I feel like one sure thing here. I think.
yeah, one sure thing, and that to me, I think we're on the same page. Christopher Nolan taking that for Oppenheimer, if you ask me, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't change it. That's who I want to
yeah,
win.
yeah. I'm going with that. Christopher Nolan should win. Will win.
About time.
Not to say that the other nominees aren't worthy, because they are, but
Absolutely.
I just think it's his year, and I will be shocked if his name isn't called. A part of me wants like a curveball shock, so it's not like a boring ceremony.
I
But I
agree with
also don't.
that.
But I also like it just depends where the shock is. I don't need like it doesn't have to
It's
be
got to
like a
be
major one.
a well placed
Yeah,
shock too. Yeah, nothing
yeah,
too
yeah, yeah.
upsetting.
One that makes sense. Not
Definitely.
yeah, agreed. But yeah, we are in agreement on two categories so far. Um, this one's interesting because this is gonna be like me deciding right now when I'm picking
Oh
for
yeah.
uh actor in a leading role. So to refresh everyone, it's Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
All right.
Um,
I know what you're split on.
I know, yeah, it's hard. I think this is really hard. Will win, and then yeah, we could be wrong here because these two guys have like won precursors
Various
leading up to
awards.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they would both really be really great Oscar winning stories, but I'm gonna go with should win Cillian Murphy. Will win. I'm still gonna stick behind Cillian Murphy, even though
Oh,
I
okay.
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way.
Okay.
Um,
To Paul Giamatti.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And now, I'm going to stay true to this because even though we're not going to go through all the nominations on the show, like we will fill out our own like kind of ballot for when we
Right.
talk about the Oscars, and I will stick with this. I'm not going to change it at the last minute and be like, no, I'm going with Giamatti, just because I just want to be upfront.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Cillian Murphy. Let's stick with it.
Okay, well, we are 3 for 3. I agree. I think Killian has got it. That is to say, I won't be shocked if it does go to Paul Giamatti. I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot of support behind him where he has been passed up before. Also, with working with Alexander Payne back in the day, was it Sideways? Is that the one that he was nominated for?
Yeah.
Or yeah,
No, he got snubbed for it. Actually, he was.
oh, he got snubbed
I
from the
believe.
nomination.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, he's worked with Alexander Payne before. I think there is a lot of love for his performance in The Holdovers, which is incredible. Wouldn't be mad at all if he wins it, but I'm sticking with you too. I think it's going to go to Killian. I want it to be Killian because I think, although like it would be great to see Paul Giamatti when he's an older actor, he's probably got less in the tank than Killian would at this point. But I mean, call it recency bias. Just super pumped. I really want Killian to get this moment, but. Yeah, 3 for 3 so far, so good. I'm sure we'll have some differentiating opinions at some point, but these first few are pretty.
I feel like it's coming up soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would be my next one. I'll need the next category for actress in the leading role. A little refresher: we've got Annette Bening for Naiad, which is the only performance in here that I have not seen, so I really can't really lend anything to her performance. Lily Gladstone, a favorite for Killers of the Flower Moon. She was incredible. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. She definitely could have been nominated for her role in Zone of Interest as well. Big 2 performances from her last year. Carey Mulligan in Maestro, who was always fantastic, and Emma Stone in Poor Things. That is the most recent performance of these 5 ladies that I've seen. And up until I'd seen that, I was very much on the Lily Gladstone train. I still would be. I think her performance in Killers of the Flower Moon is lovely. She's incredible. Yeah. Where I give Emma Stone the edge, and I said this in my Letterboxd review for Poor Things, is how much physicality is behind her role in Poor Things. She is all over the place. She's dancing. She's walking like she's just learning how to operate her body, because for those that haven't seen the movie, her character has the brain of a child inside of there. So we are treated to a really lovely, obviously her dialogue and delivery is Oscar worthy itself, but she compounds that performance with some awesome physicality. So to make a long story short, my should win or will win rather is Emma Stone. I would split it between Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone for should win. I think either one of them could get it, but I'm going with Emma Stone.
Yeah. So this is another hard one.
It was definitely hard.
So I think, and they're so different performance wise, so it's hard to really compare them. But I think will win Lily Gladstone.
Okay.
Should win Emma Stone.
Okay.
And that is I mean, again, you're comparing like 2 very different, still great performances, but after I finally watched Poor Things, I agree with you about there's just so much. The physicality that you mentioned is like huge. I mean, she does a lot, and like it's interesting watching Emma Stone as an actress, because like she is clearly a very diverse actress. Like watching her in something like this, and then thinking about like something like Zombieland or Birdman, or like she is like completely different and everything she does. Yeah, and I think there's just another example of like how great she is as an actress, and definitely a part that she had to be 100% committed to, and then she also had to trust in the direction and writing about all that too. I mean, like, I don't know. I thought she was great, but I also see like Lily Gladstone has some great moments in Killers of the Flower Moon. Some more like, and it was hard, but I still think she will win. I think Lily Gladstone will win, but I think should win will be Emma Stone.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, seems like we're on the same page for the most part for that too. I really would be happy for either one of those ladies to scoop it up. I think they both deserve it. It's too bad we can't cut the Oscar in half, but if I got to give it an edge, I just think Emma will take it. But I mean, she also has an Oscar to her name. That might be on the top of people's minds, where Lily Gladstone is sort of like a breakout, and she's got a lot of hype behind her for her role in Killers, but time will tell. We only got 6 days left, less by the time this episode airs, to find out. But we will be waiting with bated breath. That is one of those, probably
those 2
category that is the tightest. I think
the both acting lead ones are really like, it can go either way.
Exactly, which is fun. Makes for a good show.
All right, next we got actor in a supporting role. Up next, Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. I think this is where I'm going to like throw the curveball.
Okay.
I think will win is Robert Downey Jr.
Yep.
But I'm going with the should, and this is only because I would love to see a comedic performance win. I'm giving the should to Ryan Gosling, but that is
Oh, okay. Not
yeah,
where I thought you were going. I
yeah,
thought we were
yeah,
about to say the same thing, but no, I would like to see something like that too.
yeah. And I mean, also because comedy is like usually not represented at the Oscars at all, and it's assumed that it's like easier to do than drama, but most actors say that comedy is a lot harder
It's
than
hard to
drama.
be funny, yeah, and
Yeah,
consistently funny amongst across 2 hour runtime too.
yeah.
You're
I
right; it
think
doesn't get enough credit.
I think in a different year that Ryan Gosling, maybe if it wasn't like clearly Robert Downey Jr., it seemed like it's his time to get it. Um, how crazy that like, what 15 years ago or a little over 15 years ago he was up for Tropic Thunder against Heath Ledger in a Christopher Nolan movie, and now he is nominated for a Christopher Nolan movie, and he is going to most likely win for that. So, kind of nice little full circle moment for him.
100%. Um,
Where are you at on this?
I'm with you with will win for Robert Downey Jr. I think he's got a lot of momentum behind him that he's been able to successfully hold on to since that July release of Oppenheimer, and I will be
Yeah.
ecstatic for him because he doesn't have an Oscar to his name, does he? At this point,
No, just been
just
nominated
nominations,
twice, but
right?
yeah.
What was the other one for?
Or three
Was
times.
was it the judge?
Chaplin. No, he was nominated
Oh,
for Chaplin and Tropic Thunder, and then this. So this
oh,
will
and
be his
now
third.
this is the third, of course. Yeah, I was like, what's the
Yeah,
other one? Right,
yeah.
Chaplin. Yeah, so I'm thinking it'll be him. However, just because I saw it recently and I did not know this actor had it in him, I shouldn't have been surprised because I've seen Mark Ruffalo perform a lot. But
Yeah.
I was very, very impressed with his performance in Poor Things. And that's when you said you'd like to see a comedic performance win, that's where I thought he was hilarious. And some of the better moments
he was funny,
in Poor
actually.
Things go to him. He was great. So even though I'm happy with Robert Downey Jr., I kind of do want him to win just to throw a curveball into the mix. Like I'll go with should win with Mark Ruffalo. He really impressed me in Poor Things. He had me laughing quite a few times in that movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean it would be nice to see a funny performance, even if it was his. But yeah, I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to win, and he's probably going to give an amazing speech. I'm looking forward to that because he's pretty funny. So
yes, he is.
That'll be nice to see, and I think you'll actually see like a lot of respect from everyone in that room when he wins. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a standing ovation or something for him because
that'll be a very wholesome moment. I think.
Yeah, he has certainly gone through a lot throughout his career, and like of course those awful days are like long behind him, but like to finally get the recognition of his peers would probably be like a really big big moment for him. So
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. Alrighty. I believe, are you reading these ones? The actress in a supporting role.
Oh, am I? I lost track already. I'm bad for this.
Yeah.
If you'd like me to, I will. This brings us to actress in a supporting role. Reminder for you guys: we've got Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera is nominated for Barbie, Jodie Foster nominated for Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph, I think the clear favorite to win for her performance in The Holdovers. Now, this is a category where I've only seen 3 of the nominees, but I think, needless to say, I believe it's going to Divine Joy Randolph. She is my should and will win pick for actress in a supporting role. I know you've been saying this numerous times too.
Yeah, I think this is the easiest one for us to call is like Divine Joy Randolph should and will win for The Holdovers. Again, if she doesn't, another shock moment, I guess. But
yeah, I think that could be one where it happens, but
I don't think she's won like pretty much everything leading up.
She's the Kiwi Kwan of this year.
Yeah. And now I've seen some people recently wonder like what is so Oscar worthy about it, and I just think back. She has like a few moments in that movie that I thought were just really strong. You're like, oh, that's probably the moment, or that might be the moment. Like it's a good like. There's like some light comedy in her performance too, but also like her character, is dealing with a lot of pain and grief, and she performs out that really well too. Like it's a really like kind of nuanced performance, and she doesn't really have as much time as like the other two, but she does a lot with that time. I think.
Good point. That's right. It is very much a supporting performance.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think, and she might be one of those wins that like when she wins, there's probably a lot of tears. I imagine because
Yes.
she's been like you could tell she's like she has all that momentum, and I don't know if it gets in their heads like if they're like, hey, I've been winning everything so far. I'm a shoe in. I don't know how actors think about this, but
Right.
she has to be thinking like it's in the bag like a little bit. So it
I
would be a nice win though for sure.
It would be a nice win. I also just want to shout out Penelope Cruz again. Would have loved to have seen her nominated for her work in Ferrari. I think if she was up there, I might be a little bit more split because although she
Yeah,
definitely like doesn't bring like the emotional punch to a performance that Divine Joy Randolph does to the holdovers, I think like her just like the raw emotion and like more like furious anger that she has in her performance,
yeah,
like
yeah,
almost like counteracts the wholesome like brokenheartedness in the performance of Joy Randolph. I feel like opposite end of the
yeah.
spectrum in terms of the emotions that they're really focusing on in their performances. But anyway, regardless, it's a tangent. She didn't get nominated, but really, really one of my favorite performances from a supporting actress last year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, this category is gonna be hard for me to pick too.
Yeah.
We have adapted screenplay. So we have American Fiction, written for the screen by Cord Jefferson. Barbie, written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. Oppenheimer, written for the screen by Christopher Nolan. Poor Things, screenplay by Tony McNamara. And The Zone of Interest, written by Jonathan Glazer. If you would have asked me like uh some months ago, I would have been like, well, the what really screwed up this category is that originally Barbie was campaigning in original screenplay, and I thought for sure if they put that in the original screenplay that Barbie possibly that would be the one that would win. But then they decided that the Academy decided it's an adapted screenplay because it's based on an existing property, and I guess Barbie the doll is an existing
Yeah. I still
property.
disagree with that decision. Big time.
Yeah. Um, I feel like they want to give Barbie something, but I also think that there's this like tide that's like against Barbie now a little bit. Uh, so I'm gonna say should win Barbie, but I think will win, which I mentioned it earlier. This is where I want to give it to American Fiction.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
But again, this would have been a lot easier to call if Barbie was like in the other category.
Yeah, for sure. Like it should have been in the first place. Like
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
weird change up, but I mean, it is what it is. Definitely gonna throw a curveball and probably for whatever if it does win, whatever loses to it, I think there will be some bad blood there, like what could have been if it,
yeah,
hadn't have had that switch over. But oh well, time will tell. It's interesting that your pick for American Fiction. Like I kind of want to like this is sort of like one of those categories that might flip for me after I see American Fiction. I don't know yet, so it's not
right.
really. It didn't make my short or will just because I haven't seen it, but um, my will and should. This is the same. I think my pick is going to Poor Things for that screenplay. Was a lot of fun. I love the. I guess well, no, Yorgos doesn't have a writing credit on it. I know Tony McNamara's name from something else, but this is adapted from a book too. So whatever he brought
Right.
from the book onto the screen was super super great. There's a lot of interesting like dynamics in the world of Poor Things that aren't fully
Yeah.
explained. You're just seeing visually that are obviously plucked from the pages of the screenplay. But I think there's a lot of little things that go to make Poor Things as great as it is. So I don't know if it was my favorite screenplay of the year. I think I guess it's in the next one, but for
Yeah.
adapted at least, that's where I'm going with is for Poor Things.
Well, Tony McNamara also wrote the script for The Favorite, so he has a
That's what it
working
was.
relationship with. Yeah.
Yes, they
Uh,
worked good
interesting.
together.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, I would have, like I said, I also think Barbie because Barbie got moves is because everyone was like, "Where's Killers of the Flower Moon?" And I think Barbie
Took it.
might have knocked
Yeah,
that out. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
And
mad about
also,
that
I guess
though.
also an interesting question. I guess we should ask ourselves is that we are like we chose Oppenheimer for Best Picture, Best Director. but we did not think its screenplay is going to win. I was going to throw that to you as to why you thought why that wouldn't be the case. Even though we think it's going to win picture and director.
I guess I don't know if I've ever really taken stock about why I don't think it's going to win. It's not that I think that it's a weak screenplay by any means, like not at all. I just think that maybe like there's more, maybe like it has there's more stronger like competitors with it in this category than there are for Best Picture, or at least in terms of the momentum. I think like Oppenheimer has although I think every candidate for Best Picture is very strong. It just happens that Oppenheimer has, I think, like the most support behind it right now, and it's ridden that high for a while. But I think when it comes to screenplay, I haven't seen, at least for adapted, anybody like too much pressure on one movie to really like pull ahead and take it. So I think maybe that's kind of why I'm leaning towards Poor Things, because I just think there's, it's more of a toss up. I think Oppenheimer's screenplay is fantastic, but I don't know, Poor Things just felt so wholly original to me. I know it's adapted from a book, but I guess the story in it just felt completely, I don't know, just incredible.
Some have made the argument that Poor Things does better than what Barbie tried to do. I saw a few people like making that argument on social media. I mean, they're very different movies, I guess. But I guess like
very different movies. I agree. There's some themes in there that are present in both. I drew some comparisons myself.
Yeah. But I thought I thought that was interesting.
What about what's your 2 cents for Oppenheimer? Why don't you think it's going to win screenplay?
I think it's more like the way I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about how people might be voting, and they're like, if it's going to win, if they feel that it's going to win Best Picture, Best Director, that they might
trying to give something to something else.
Yeah. And I know that sounds maybe like a silly rationalization for it, but I think that's how some of them think. It's like, oh, it's going to win here,
right?
So let's let's spread the love somewhere else. So that's why I think that
fair
could be the case. But I think that film screenplay is also very good. So
okay. Moving on to the other screenplay category, in original, we've got Anatomy of a Fall. The screenplay was written by its director, Justine Triet, and Arthur Harari. We've got The Holdover screenplay was nominated, which is written by David Hemmingson. Maestro screenplay is nominated, or Bradley Cooper is nominated, and Josh Singer, co-writing credits. May December screenplay, the nominees for that one are Sammy Birch and Alex Mechanic. How do you pronounce that last name? Interesting.
I believe you got it right, yeah.
And Past Lives, written by its director, Celine Song. I'll just, because I'm reading it, I will go. This is a clear one for me. Past Lives was my favorite screenplay, not only of last year, but I think one of my favorite screenplays, like, I'll go at least this century. Like, that movie was incredible, down to the writing. Even though it's a very subtle movie, it's not this huge in scope. There are so many little intricacies, and the way that how accurately it handles this dynamic between these two humans separated by space and time was the way that it was so universal to so many people. I just thought was astounding. It like literally brought tears out of me, which like very few movies do. Not very few, but to the level that this movie did, doesn't happen that often. It really moved me to tears. It was an incredible screenplay. I was floored with it right after I got done watching it. I want to see it again already. But yeah, that one for me, Past Lives, Celine Song. That's one of 2 nominations that it got. I hope it wins this one at least.
Yeah.
What about you?
We are back in sync because I think it should win and will win. I think it's like you said, it's only got 2 nominations, and I think this is a category where they could award it something.
Right.
I think its closest competition and is between 2 movies, and it's The Holdovers and Anatomy of a Fall, probably right behind it. But I still think it should win and will win.
Nice.
I also love May December as well. Wish it got more love, but I don't know. Past Lives is just a stronger overall. Stronger screenplay.
That movie's screenplay was incredible.
All right, what do we got next?
Cinematography.
So we got El Conde, by Edward Lockman, Kills of the Flower Moon, Rodrigo Prieto. All these names are hard, guys.
I know
Maestro.
that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop. Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Um, you know, actually, I love the cinematography and Poor Things. Shit. All right, I'll go. Should win. Poor Things will win Oppenheimer.
Okay. Damn. I'm kind of on the same page. After watching Poor Things, that is the one that I wanted to win the most of all the categories
Yeah.
it's nominated for. I thought the cinematography was incredible from that movie. Props to Robbie Ryan. Is he the one?
Yeah.
Did he die after that movie came out? There was a
I'm
cinematographer that passed
unsure.
away.
I believe. Let me. I can double check.
I thought I could be thinking of something else, but I thought I heard that he passed away after
Oh
this
no, he's
movie.
alive.
He is
He's alive.
alive.
He's alive. So yeah,
Wonder who I wonder who I'm thinking of.
And he also did cinematography for The Favorite. He likes working with the same people.
I guess so. Maybe
Yeah.
it was Killers of the. Oh no, somebody that worked on Killers of the Flower Moon, I think, passed away after it came out. One of Marty Scorsese's long-term collaborators. I think I was just thinking of it was Poor Things cinematographer, but besides the point, I'm with you. I think Poor Things should win cinematography. If it doesn't, then I think Oppenheimer stands the closest chance. Interesting how at least three, I've seen four of the nominees, and I haven't seen El Conde. I don't know if there's any black and white cinematography in there, but all of Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things all have significant black and white cinematography in those movies, which is really cool. Just making a comeback, I think. Yeah, awesome. Oppenheimer, I think, might stand a chance, but I'm rooting for Poor Things, actually.
Yep. All right, what we got next?
Original song.
Oh, original song. And I've only heard one, two. Oh, I've heard four of them.
The nominees are The Fire Inside from the movie Flamin' Hot. We have two Barbie songs. I'm Just Ken from Barbie and What Was I Made For from Barbie. It Never Went Away from American Symphony is the fourth nominee. And the last one is, ooh boy, don't even know. Oh, there's okay. So it has an indigenous title, but the English title of the song is, I won't butcher it, but A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, I don't know. The standout to me is, I mean, the only two that I can really picture, like recall from after listening to them are the Barbie ones, because those are very much like the lyrics are very present in the song. I don't recall, and I've only seen one other nominee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what I have a pick. I really think I agree. Like, I think the What Was I Made For is a shoe in. I think I'm Just Ken might take it too, though. So a toss up between those two for me.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out something about Diane Warren, because she is a accomplished songwriter. She did the Flaming Hot song here.
Oh, okay.
She has been nominated 15 times and has never won.
Whoa.
And there's always a case of like,
there's
like a slightly better song than hers, and it's not like she doesn't write like she wrote I Don't Want to Miss a Thing for Armageddon, and that is a great.
She wrote that song that Aerosmith performs.
Yeah. So
that
like
song is incredible.
She writes some like great songs for movies. It's just, and she's always has the best attitude. She's always like just happy to be here. I know she wants to win.
Yes.
At some point, but again, this won't be her year either. I feel really bad.
Oh my god, I had no idea.
So, a while ago, I would have said should and will, just so it's funny. I would have given it time, Just Ken. But I think the way voters think is that they think the song is kind of silly, even though I think it's funny. The more appropriate song from the movie that makes more sense with like the themes of the movie is What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish. And I think that should and will win, even though I wouldn't hate if I'm Just Kidding.
Right.
I just think it's a funny song.
Regardless, we're going to hear it performed by Ryan Gosling at the show.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah. I mean, they actually on teams I was watching here, they ran into some of the people that were, I guess, helped Diane Warren with the Flaming Hot song, and they were just throwing like polite shade at the what was I made for song, and they were like, oh, it's so depressing. Let's give it to like a fun song. And I mean, it is a really like dour, slow song, but
Right.
it fits with the themes of the movie a bit more
Yep.
than like I'm just kidding.
For sure.
So I think she's gonna, and I does Billie Eilish already have one? I know she's been nominated.
She's been
I
nominated.
believe,
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. I don't know.
I had to like look that up real quick because I mean she's accomplished like so much in like a
Was it a
relatively like short
Bond?
amount.
A
I think it
Bond
was a
song?
Bond song. Yeah,
Yeah. I still have not seen
yeah.
that last Bond movie. I don't know what I'm waiting for.
Oh yeah, no, it won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Yeah, No
Wow.
Time to
Okay.
Die. Yeah,
Nice.
so she could be a 2-time Oscar winner.
Cool.
Good for her. But yeah, I'm
Not
looking
bad.
forward to like how that's gonna be. I mean, Ryan Gosling performing, that'll be probably a highlight of
I think
the
so
show.
too. I wonder if he'll put it on a different costume.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm glad he decided to do it because they weren't gonna have, if he wasn't gonna do it, they weren't gonna get anyone else to
Right.
perform it. So
I wonder if they would have like played a snippet from the song just like over speakers or something.
yeah, they have to do something for
Yeah,
it. I
because that
mean,
would be
and I think he
weird like
realized he
left it.
had to do it, unless he was worried about doing it live. But I think he realized he had to like do it.
Ooh, I wouldn't want that pressure, but I mean, he's a
Yeah,
talented guy. I think he'll kill it.
yeah.
Yeah. Which brings us to costume design. I'll let you rattle off the nominees there.
All right, we got. I'm just gonna name the movies: Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think should and will be the costume designs for Barbie.
I'm with you. I won't
Yep.
won't yap on any more about it. Those costumes. If there's anything that I really loved from Barbie, it was the production and the costume design, the hair and makeup. That was all incredible. I know that's a different Oscar, but
Yeah,
all those features from Barbie I thought were really incredible. And you can definitely just see more than I think than any other movie. Quite the
yeah,
depth and the detail and the absolute headache that probably everyone in the costume department was going through because that movie
yeah,
looks great. Everybody dressed up looks awesome. And that's a strong category too. I mean, Poor Things costumes were incredible. Napoleon, I think that was its only nomination or maybe one of two it snuck in there. They look great too. Oh, there's some great
yeah,
costumes in Napoleon. But Barbie, I think, yeah, is a clear
yeah.
winner for me too.
And by the way, guys, he did not love a lot about Barbie, so take that compliment.
Yeah.
Run with
I
that compliment.
definitely think it earned that, if nothing else. But I'm sure
Yeah,
it'll scoop up at least a couple, but that's got to be one that it gets.
that was a. I think I like gasped when I first read your letterbox review of it. When I saw this, when I saw the score, I was like,
That
no.
didn't prep
When I
you
saw the
enough.
score, I know. I was like, damn. I was like, he didn't like it at all. No, you
I
actually
give
did
it
mention some.
two. There's plenty
Yeah,
of
yeah.
movies I like less than it, and that's
Yeah.
to
You
say,
mentioned
even
stuff you liked about it too. So
yeah, that's right. Give me some
yeah,
credit here.
yeah. My bad.
Skipping sound now to go down to original score. Our nominees are for American Fiction, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for some reason, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I have a feeling we're on the same page with this one again, but I'll let you lead in case I'm wrong.
Should win, will win. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I still listen to the score on a fairly regular basis, actually. I'm a big soundtrack score guy. Like, I have a
yeah,
whole playlist on my Spotify account for scores. And
yeah,
Oppenheimer, there was three in particular that I've just been obsessed with, been listening to a bunch,
yeah.
more so than anything else from any of these. I haven't heard the top two nominees scores, but I mean, Dial of Destiny is more or less a recycled Indiana version or Indiana Jones
Yeah,
score, right?
I found out later that there are some new themes in it,
Okay, okay.
but, and I love John Williams scores.
No
You know,
shade to John Williams at all here.
yeah, but this feels like a let's just nominate him because he's John Williams kind of
Yeah,
nomination,
yeah.
and that's
He
why
wouldn't
he's
be hurting if he didn't get nominated, I don't think.
like the score from Across the Spider Verse should be here over
Yeah,
that.
that's the big miss. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would have had a harder time picking if that score was there. I would have like
I
it would have been
agree.
a struggle between that and
You know what
Oppenheimer, but
else would have been difficult if Dune 2 came out last year? I don't know what I would
oh
pick
yeah,
over Oppenheimer.
there's
I'm
some
so
there's
high on
some
Dune 2.
epic theme. There's some epic. Hans Zimmer is just he can't be stopped
No,
like
no.
at all.
Hans Zimmer's a titan.
There
I'm
is some
predicting
music in that movie that were just like
the
that's what you're supposed
Emperor's
to feel.
theme from
Yeah,
Dune 2. Oh my god, it's
yeah.
so awesome. So many great songs.
Guys, we have both seen the movie and we haven't we will talk about it eventually.
Yes.
But priorities. But yeah,
Still
sorry,
reeling.
we had
Yeah.
a moment right now.
I'm just predicting now. I think that'll win next year. But as far as 2023 scores, yeah, I think we're locked.
Oh,
Oppenheimer.
there's a lot of people comparing, even though it's the second movie. A lot of people are like drawing these correlations between Return of the King and Dune Part Two, where it's like they think that is going to sweep,
Oh,
and
okay.
then like we said, things can change. Like in the fall, like when all these like festivals and stuff come out, there'll be other movies and stuff that emerge as like
Right.
potential favorites, but. And I know it's early in the year. This is one of those situations where it being released early in the year was like a technicality, and not because it's not. It's they're gonna remember Dune Part Two
They
when it
better.
comes time to vote. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. What do we got next?
I've scrolled down to, unless there's any else you want to throw in there, animated feature I thought would
Oh
be
yeah,
worth
yeah.
predicting.
You want to rattle that one off?
Sure, yeah. Nominees. I've seen two of these, but the nominees for animated feature film are The Boy and the Heron by Hayao Miyazaki and Toshio Suzuki, Elemental, Peter Sohn and Denise Ream, Nimona has a lot of nominees, and Robot. Actually, the other three movies all have too many nominees. Nimona, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I just shouldn't have read any names.
Oh, that's amazing.
My should win is Boy and the Heron. And just as insurance, I'm going to go will win for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I really think both of them have, almost equal rights to win. Like, I wouldn't be mad if either of those two win. I can't say anything about the other three nominees. I really don't think Elemental is going to, but I really, really want them to give it to Hayao Miyazaki. He won animated feature film way back 20 plus years ago for Spirited Away. I believe it was. Yes, which is incredible. So a big gap for him, but he's been nominated quite a few times too. But this is like his swan song, and I think it'd be really fitting for him to snag that coveted Oscar. But what do you think?
All right, I'm going should and will to Spider-Man.
Okay, nice.
I wanted to get something, and even though I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron, but I know a lot of people did love it.
Yeah,
and but I'm gonna stick behind Spider-Man.
I want Spider-Man to win something too. It's a shame that it was. It got snubbed from a couple categories, didn't it? Did it get? Was it nominated for visual effects? I think it was.
No, I just pulled it up. No, yeah. And no best picture.
Oh boy,
yeah. A lot of people. Yeah.
Score, yeah. Like, I see what you're saying. Where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, speaking of visual effects, do you want to do that one too?
Absolutely, you can rattle off the noms.
And there are a lot of names, and some of them are very hard to pronounce. So I'm just gonna give you the movies, guys. Visual effects. We got the Creator, Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Napoleon. I'm going for the should and will to Godzilla -1.
Okay, nice. Because I have should for Godzilla and will for the Creator. I loved both of those movies, and the visual effects are both some of the highlights of those movies. I do give the edge to Godzilla simply because they're working with a micro budget with $15 million, and what they're able to accomplish with that rivals all of the best blockbusters from the last several years. And I don't know how they did it. I don't think I'll ever know how they did it with that budget.
For $15 million, that's crazy.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Although it should be noted too, like, where's Poor Things and Oppenheimer in here? I know they got a slew of nominations; they're not missing, but like the visual effects of both of those movies were absolutely mind blowing. So I don't know how those aren't here, but I mean, you can only have 5. But oh well. At least I'm glad the Creator and Godzilla were both at least got some nominations. So we'd be happy for either one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all the ones we're gonna, I guess, predict live of the show.
I guess so. Yeah.
But we will be filling out. We'll fill out a full ballot on our own, and we'll see how we did when we record our next episode next week.
Definitely.
And again, like I said, what I said here is what I'm going to stick with. No last minute changes at the come Sunday. Like, oh, I changed my mind. I will stick to what I said on the show. So, may the best men win. Of course, all in good fun.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited to share our scores this time next week. Definitely expecting maybe a couple of curveballs, but I'm just really excited for that conversation. And yes, rest assured, we will have our scores ready for you guys, and I'm sure we'll know in advance too. We'll be chatting throughout the show.
Yeah. Before we are gonna talk about a few trailers quickly, but before we do that, I already told Jackson I want to throw this in just because I think the story is funny, and I don't know if Rebecca Ferguson knew that she was gonna make us all into like internet like crime sleuths trying to figure out who yelled at her, but everyone's trying to figure out who the fuck yelled at Rebecca Ferguson on the set of some movie. Okay,
I think she underestimated how many people love and support
her. Yeah, I think
she's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I even did too. I loved her too, but I never expected this sort of like response to this interview.
Yeah.
But
what she's great in is fucking Dr. Sleep. Every time I watch that, like she is so like she freaky. Is such a good villain and freak. Yeah, she's so good in that movie.
Yeah. For people maybe that don't know, give us a lowdown of what happened, what the story is all about.
Okay, so she did this interview where she basically said that she refused to work with this person because they had like a meltdown on set, and like there's this whole thing where they like yelled at her, made her cry. Now it wasn't like she was like a shrieking violet, like she did kind of respond back in that moment, but she basically said that she would never work with this person again, and she put out some clues, kind of where this person was number one on the call sheet, so he is like an A-list person. He's not some random like supporting player. And so that made everyone try to figure out, okay, like what movies has she been in where a male co-star would be like, number one on the call sheet. And she insinuated that he was an A-list person and not not some day player. So you got to follow the breadcrumbs a little bit. She has worked with Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible movies that she was in. Of course, she's worked with Timothée Chalamet. It's not him. They just recently worked together in Dune and Dune Part 2.
Right.
She worked with Ewan McGregor and Dr. Sleep. Everyone's also making me laugh because she also worked with Jacob Tremblay and Dr. Sleep, the kid.
and imagine it was him having a little freak out.
She has worked with Hugh Grant. I think it's Foster Florence Jenkins or something like that.
Florence Foster Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah, she works with Dwayne Johnson in Hercules. And what I love about Dwayne Johnson, and he basically came out and said like he would love to find out who actually did do that, because she was like, he complimented her, like, she was great to work with. My train of thought was like, he did not want to be on that list of suspects, so he was like, let me come out of this and be like,
getting ahead of it. Yeah, I definitely got that impression as well, because Dwayne, I think, would be a top suspect for me, just knowing his ego. Not to say that I don't know if he's a bad guy, if he would do that, but everyone has bad days, and that's not to say that this person that did yell at her is a complete evil asshole, although maybe they are. But knowing Dwayne, at least in the last few years, like, he was a top contender for me too. Not that I think that he's like that, but I could just picture him having a bad day, some too many things going the wrong way, and like having a little meltdown. But I don't think that's who it is. I don't know if you have your mind made up, but I'm privy to this investigation too, and I seem to have a consensus. But I was curious. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah, she also worked with Michael Fassbender in The Snowman, I believe, like a really, really bad movie.
You ever see that movie? Yeah, terrible.
It's awful. She also has worked with Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds in Life. And she has worked with Hugh Jackman. Now, I think she kind of made it clear that it wasn't Hugh Jackman, because they've seemed friendly since the movie they did together. Man, even Emily Blunt got thrown in the mix, and they're like, first of all, it was a dude, not a woman. And Emily Blunt and Rebecca Ferguson are friends. Um, so I had someone I thought it was, and then but someone showed me like a clip of them doing press together after the movie. But like actors are also like they have to do press. I mean, I guess if she
Right.
really wasn't uncomfortable, she could be like, I don't want to do the press junket with him if she really didn't want
Right.
to do it. But I was going all in on Jake Gyllenhaal, and
Oh,
and I
really?
and and
Interesting.
I and I hate to say that, but it was also that recent story that came out about him, like where he basically got himself fired off of like an independent movie that he was supposed to do,
Oh,
and he was
yeah. I
like,
forgot about that.
and he like was talking about like jumping in the fucking lake and like he just being ridiculous on set, and I was like, it could be him, but I also like Jake Gyllenhaal, and I don't
Me
want to
too.
think it was him. Um, and just to give people like a better clarification about what she said, she said, I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at, but because the person was number one on the call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I would cry walking off set. This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, you call yourself an actor. This is what I have to work with. What is this? And I just stood there and just broke. So this person was awful.
Okay, yeah,
To,
that's I never heard that quote. I've heard a lot about this story and people going all vigilante and trying to figure out people went to some crazy lengths in their
yeah.
investigation. I didn't hear that though. That's pretty like the actual
Now,
things that were said to her. That's terrible.
now what's interesting is that they said that she ended up confronting the person and acting towards the back of their head instead of face to face. But the internet is still trying to figure out who it is. Um, there are a lot of people that also think it's Hugh Grant because they said that he can be hard to work with.
That's
Um,
that's where my mind is on, not for my own reasons, just because of what I've read from other people and I saw some compelling evidence that on their movie there's no solo shots of them promoting the movie together. They didn't take any pictures of just them two, and there's lots of
yeah,
photos of them with their other co-stars for Florence Foster Jenkins on the red carpet, and there's none of Hugh
yeah,
Grant and Rebecca Ferguson. So I thought that was a pretty interesting like piece of evidence because I
yeah.
thought Tom Cruise was a good contender too, and I love Tom Cruise to death. Crazy, uh, what do you call it there? What's the oh my
Well,
god, why am I blanking on the religion that he follows? The
oh, Scientology.
Scientology, yeah. Scientology, all that crazy stuff aside, like I love Tom Cruise to death. And he had that infamous freak out on the set of was it Top Gun Maverick or Dead Reckoning when it was filming back in COVID?
I believe. Oh, it was Dead Reckoning, and she was in that.
Right.
I think she kind of confirmed that it wasn't Tom Cruise, and like the only reason and if it was, I think that would have come out like if it's by now. But I
Oh
guess
yeah. I don't think
from
it
what I
is
can
him
tell,
anymore, but that was where my mind went. Like, oh, we know that he's exploded on set before it's been covered. So that's where I was thinking, oh, maybe it was Tom. But I agree. I don't
yeah.
think it is him either.
And I love actually The Rock's actual quote was, "Hate seeing this, but love seeing her stand up to bullshit. Rebecca was my guardian angel sent from heaven on our set. I love that woman. I'd like to find out who did this."
Yeah, holy
Like
fuck,
everyone's like,
Dwayne. Like, relax.
everyone's. I know it's like, calm down. Are you gonna like put a
It's like you might
bounty
as
out
well
on
have
his head?
a big neon arrow saying it wasn't me, by the
It
way.
wasn't me. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
get like good for him for supporting her, but like maybe it's just because it's Dwayne and he like is so. It seems like he's so like all about his image. It just that's how it comes
yeah,
across. Like maybe anybody else could say the same thing, and I wouldn't say that about them. But it's because it's Dwayne Johnson. I'm like, okay, Dwayne. Like
yeah,
even if people thought it was you for a few days, like it wouldn't be the end of the world. But
yeah. Well,
I
Hugh
don't think it was.
actually, the evidence for Hugh Grant makes sense.
That's why
Um,
I think that. Yeah.
and then I was all in on Jake Gyllenhaal, but then someone did show me uh them promoting life together, like in a press junket, and they seemed like pleasant with each other. It wasn't like she was uncomfortable, and I think they like even pulled a prank on like one of the interviewers. So maybe not
Okay.
him. Certainly wasn't Ryan Reynolds. Um,
No.
but what I love about this story is that like I don't know if Rebecca Ferguson realized what she was going to cause by just not
I don't
mentioning
think
who
so
this was,
either. I don't
but
think she's a
putting like
vindictive person.
no, and but like
No.
you said earlier, I also didn't realize how much people loved her. I really
Yeah.
didn't. I mean,
It's kind of
I've
wholesome.
never heard anyone bring up like you know who's great? Rebecca Ferguson. I'm not saying that she's not. She is. But I've
No, but
never
I
heard
agree.
anyone like casually bring her up in conversation
That's
until
right.
this kind of came out. And now the internet's like, we gotta find out who the fuck yelled at this girl
Yeah.
because they all want to have her.
Hopefully they do. I hope maybe she gets an apology out of it at the very least. That'd be great.
I was wondering if like because the person knows who they are,
Exactly.
and I wonder if they're like, should I say something? Like, oh, it was a bad day. Oh, we hashed it out. We talked about it. I don't know.
I wonder if they're talking to
But
their
but
publicist or something.
yeah, but of course, like Hollywood is like 6 degrees of separation, right? So there's going to be like one person that's like, was this you? I could have sworn it was you. I mean, like, we definitely, I think I definitely heard you yell at her when we were making this movie, and just accidentally like leak it. Like, yeah, it was definitely this person.
Yeah.
I also know how mean the internet can be, and if they do find out who it is, like then that will be pretty bad too.
Yeah,
I think she did like the right thing by like she stirred the pot like a little, and that's fine because like she has every right to. If this person like berated her like that on set, I'm kind of glad that maybe she made him a little scared this whole last week that someone was going to find out who it was.
That's a good point, and seems like it was warranted based on the things
and
that were said to her.
What a time to do it while you're promoting like what's going to be the biggest movie of the weekend. That
of probably of the year.
Yeah, really great timing on her part. Again, I don't think it was vindictive. I just think it was just smart.
Yeah,
for her to do it that way. Yeah. But yeah, I want to like throw that in there just because I also was curious as to who yelled at Rebecca Ferguson, and I didn't even remember that she did Hercules with him until he came out and said something, and I was like,
is that the movie they did together? I was wondering.
Yeah, that's a movie. That's the movie they did together. And,
wow.
And I was like, but I agree with you. I was like, well, I'm glad it wasn't you, but again, the big neon sign, like it wasn't me, guys. I don't yell at women. Like I can see from The Rock doing that.
Definitely.
But yeah, we now have some trailers to throw your way. They're all kind of like the same genre of movies. It looks
I know. I was gonna say interesting. They're all horror adjacent.
Horror movies. I'm gonna throw out The Strangers Chapter 1 first.
Okay.
The best way to put it is, it's not like I didn't like the trailer because there was stuff in it where I was like, oh, that was kind of creepy. There's like one scene where the girl's like in the shower and she like kind of bends forward and the guy just like standing like right there. I'm assuming
Potato Sack Steve.
Yeah. There's some really cool, scary shots in the trailer, but I also was like, is this like a proper sequel or is it like a remake? Because it looks like the same, like some of the same beats are in
100%.
Yeah, they kind of changed the line at the end. Like, why are you doing this to us? In the original movie, it was because you were home, and then they changed it in this one because you were here. And
I don't think that works nearly as good as because you were home. And
it doesn't.
That line for the original is awesome, but I think it only works once. I don't think it seems like a Madam Web moment where they were trying to recreate the "with great power comes great responsibility" quote. It's like, why are you touching that infamous quote?
Yeah. So I was like on the fence about I was like, on the one hand, there was some good like horror movie creepy stuff in the trailer that I thought worked, and I liked kind of like the song that they used to kind of like that went along with some of the trailer. I thought that was
the song really choice was good. I agree.
But I guess I'm more confused about the intentions behind the movie or what it is exactly, because like we said, this is The Strangers Chapter 1. They are releasing Chapter 2 and 3 at different points this year. I didn't know that there was that much story to tell, and this comes from someone that actually loved the first movie. I actually thought the first movie was pretty scary and well done for what it was, and I will even give some love to the second one because while it's not nearly as good as the first one, it has some really solid like horror movie scenes in it. I think
I had a good time with the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that whole like chase scene at the pool that is like played along to like Total Eclipse of the Heart. And that was like the best moment in that movie. And
100%.
It's almost like the dirty stepchild of the two movies because one is like clearly more suspenseful and like atmospheric and like tension, and the second one is more of a slasher movie. It feels like than the first one was.
Agreed.
I just didn't know that we needed this like 3 more movies.
Well,
Yeah,
I would answer that with we absolutely do not. I would say even another one is a stretch. It seems like they might be going the prequel route based on some of the text that is in the
yeah,
trailer. It says watch how the strangers became the strangers or something along those lines.
yeah.
I'm not as on the fence. I'm very much over the fence on this one, like on the side that I don't like what I saw for the most part. Yeah, there's a couple of
Yeah,
good shots, but even that being said, none of the shots in this movie that are good are original. They are either directly inspired from the 2008 original, or
yeah,
they've been replicated in slasher horror, forever. So I didn't think there was anything original in this that I liked. I like the characters of the strangers. Like I'd like to see them terrorize people, but I think there's another way you can do it that's not an exact replica of the movie from 2008.
yeah.
Some other things I was not on board with. It seems like they're kind of trying to insinuate that like everybody in like the town where they're
Like
staying
Nose
is
or
weird
something.
in on it or creepy.
Yeah,
Don't like that at all. I thought that was
yeah,
just like very like reminiscent of like lowbrow 2000s horror for like no reason.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
I
I'm
got
actually
kind of like
yeah,
a Hills Have Eyes remake vibe. I mean, not that I
which
like that
would
movie, but like
yeah,
but like the idea like everyone knows that something strange is like
right.
going on,
That
or
would make
like
sense in the context of the Hills Have Eyes, where like everybody in that community is like feasting on people that travel through it, and like there's a
yeah,
reason with everyone being in on it. In the strangers case, I just don't buy that. I don't like that. I don't like the ending scene of the trailer with like the one who's called Pinup Girl. She's like
yeah,
kind of like I don't know if she's bundled up or tied up or anything, but there's a shotgun pointed at her like blank range, and she's like screaming and trying to come across as like intimidating. And it's like I don't buy that at
yeah,
all. It was felt like a very forced moment at the end of the trailer. I don't know how that's supposed to scare anybody. And just to top it all off, we see way too much in the trailer. Again, all the good scares that are inevitably going to come out of this movie, we've already
yeah.
seen. Like,
All
why?
all the ones I mentioned that were like cool, like we already saw them in the trailer. So yeah, I
Yep.
agree with you.
We
I mean,
see we see our main couple in the house fighting them off. We see them outside of the house. We see them already overpowered by them, like how in the end of the first movie they're kind of bound to the chairs. Like, why are we
yeah,
seeing the end of the movie in the trailer? That just blows my mind.
yeah. And you know what? I watched the trailer from the 2008 one after I watched this trailer because this trailer came out last week. And that trailer sells that movie so much. And I guess like the chapter 1 movie is like at a disadvantage because it's like seems like it's recycling so much from that
Yes.
first movie. But that first trailer was just they use that shot in the poster for the first movie, but that shot of like Liv Tyler in the kitchen and then like the guy just like appearing behind her, that
Yes.
when I first saw that in that trailer, that stuck with me, like because it's such a subtle, like you almost have like blink and you miss it kind of thing, and you're
Yes.
like, oh shit, yeah,
That scene in the movie
and
is actually great too. There's no score or anything. It's just
yeah,
complete
just
natural
quiet,
sound. Oh, it's so
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah. That movie made me afraid of like door knocking and and like any other type of noise. Like that, all that movie is just like a bunch of noise because it's like
Yeah.
so quiet throughout. And I thought that like Brian Bertino, who wrote and directed it, did a really good job of the. I mean, it's a relatively short movie too, and it comes in and gets out. And I like that there's no clear motive for what they're doing. It's just like
I
these
like
are clearly
that
people that
too.
I like. These are people that are clearly just enjoy toying with people, and like that's why that line works so well in that movie because like this, watching Liv Tyler like beg, asking like why are you doing this to us? Why? And then they just give that simple like
So
answer. So
nonchalant.
that,
Like,
yeah, like
yeah.
because you just happen to fucking be here. That's why. Like, and but yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little. I agree with you though. It doesn't look. I just don't know what the point is. I mean, I like I said, there's some great shots in it, and but they've all been given away now in the trailer, so
Exactly.
we've probably seen the best of what it has to offer.
I think
And
so too.
I'm just trying to imagine what are you going to put into a chapter 2 and a chapter 3.
I feel
Um,
like we're gonna get an Exorcist level, flop here from last year.
yeah,
It's down. It comes down. It's the age old, expression like putting the carriage before the horse. I don't
Yeah,
know why there seems to be this trend going on where we were going to greenlight 3 movies before the first one even comes out, before we even have a reaction to the first trailer of the first movie of this proposed, threequel.
right.
Just doesn't seem like smart, business model to me. But that's not to say the first one can't be good, but it's not going to be original, that's for sure. It seems very much beat for beat of the first one, which just strange to
Yeah.
me. But oh well, when's that? It comes out May 17th,
May
I think.
17th. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to be more excited. I was like, when they said the trailer was coming out Friday, I was like, all right, hopefully, maybe it might be good. And again, yeah, I felt like while watching it, like, I mean, it's not, it's competently made, I guess, but
The
I should
trailer
be more
anyway.
excited.
Yeah.
I should be more excited as a horror fan, and I'm not like that excited.
Okay, well, how about the trailer for Late Night with the Devil then? Because as a horror fan, this one
So,
kind of gets under my skin. I'm excited for what I
so,
saw from this
so yes,
teaser.
so this is how you should do a trailer.
Yes,
Uh, and it didn't give a lot away, and this movie's been like talked about in like cinephile circles for a bit. Like a lot of people are like really excited for it,
yeah, we
and
got released last year, I guess,
yeah,
which is
and
odd.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the teaser; I thought it was good. Uh, Again, a complete like opposite from the movie we were just talking about, where I'm not so intrigued by that one and very intrigued by what this one has to offer. But what did you think of it?
I thought it was super. Like you said, this is the way you make a trailer. I guess the premise for those that don't know, Late Night with the Devil, which is rated R, comes in at an hour and 26 minutes. Perfect. It's
Yep.
the little blurb on IMDb is a live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. And it's got this great atmosphere behind it. It's very 70s inspired. We got David Malchin, who's a fantastic, like one of those weirdo actors. He's very great
Yeah,
character
he's got that
actor.
face.
Yeah, he's worked with Denis Villeneuve on several of his
Yeah,
films. People will definitely recognize him. But looks like he's really got the chance to star here, like the lead. I don't think I've ever seen him in a
yeah,
leading role before. So everything down to the poster of it is very, very 70s inspired. The soundtrack from the trailer, the score, what we
yeah,
got of the score. There's like this kind of like this background, like crackling from like old film cameras that's going
yeah,
on. Super, super neat.
yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
I'm super pumped for Late Night with the Devil, and that comes out all right, March 22nd, coming out this month. That's awesome.
Yeah, and 38 reviews counted so far, and it has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Oh wow, holy
Yeah,
smokes!
no,
That I did not know.
and a 7.5 on IMDb, so that's promising as well.
Definitely. Yeah,
And he is the name. So he's like leading this movie too, which is like really cool. Like you said, I don't think I really seen him lead anything. He's usually like supporting like character actor in most stuff that he's in. So
definitely.
that's really cool to see.
I haven't
Looking forward to that
heard of
one.
the directing duo either, Cameron and Colin Cairns. I have not.
No, never
I'm not
have either.
familiar.
Actually. Oh, they're from Australia though. And
A
the
lot
last
of
time we
good.
got
Yeah,
was Talk to Me the last time we got,
that's what I was
yeah,
gonna say. Yeah, exactly. And
they
Lee
know how to make
Winnell
horror films
too.
out there. Yeah.
Another Australian that's putting out some good horror.
Yep. Yeah. Looking forward to that one. And this next one, I'm just intrigued because it looks interesting. I saw the TV Glow, which I guess had it was screened at Sundance. It got really good reviews out of Sundance. Um, I really, I mean, it's an A24 movie, so there's that. Um, so it's definitely going to be like more interesting than most
No doubt.
movies of its
I
kind. Yeah,
love the Poltergeist inspired poster, with the pink glow
yeah,
coming out of the
yeah. I thought that
TV.
was cool too.
Super neat.
Um, but yeah, the premise is two teenagers bond over their love of a television series after it is mysteriously canceled. Their reality begins to blur. I just think that's a really cool idea where it seems like the real world and like this fictional world within the show is kind of like they can't really tell what's real and what's not anymore.
I
I
like
thought that
the
was a
sound
really
of that a
cool.
lot too.
I thought that was a really cool idea, and like it does kind of have like a retro. I kind of got the vibe of like Stranger Things a bit when I watched the trailer.
Yep.
Um, that seems to be the kind of vibe they're going for, but it looks pretty good and very interesting. And I believe lady who wrote and directed this, I'm trying to see like what else she's
Jane Showbrun.
Yeah, I guess a lot of shorts and stuff. Yeah.
One thing I will say about the trailer, I'll be up front. I did not watch the entire thing. I was warned in advance, and I'm grateful. Somebody that saw it screened at
Oh,
Sundance
to
commented.
give away.
Yeah, Cam told me that he read this comment that somebody that saw it at Sundance said, "Hey, I saw this movie at Sundance, loved it, but the trailer shows you everything." So I watched it the first half, and after it started getting into the territory where I thought it was getting too spoilery, I stopped because I'm like, I actually want to try to go into this like knowing as little as possible. Where I think I actually will see it. Like I don't know if I'll really make the time to see The Strangers. That's why I watched the whole trailer, but maybe I will. But I try to see as many A24 movies as possible, and this one's quite intriguing. So I would like to
Yeah.
not have it spoiled for me. So I don't know. Did the trailer
Yeah. No.
you saw it? Did you think it was?
I just
Did it get
it
into?
does get
Yeah.
well. I guess because I didn't like. I mean, I haven't seen the movie. I can't really say, but it does seem like it does show a lot.
Okay.
And it's a pretty lengthy trailer. So I mean, like it. I wish I would have saw that comment before I looked at it.
I know, right?
Too.
Yeah, I'm glad I got the heads up.
Yeah, but I still think it looks interesting, and I'm definitely wanting to see it. And yeah, this comes out on May 3rd.
Okay.
Released by A24, and looking forward to that one. Also, I was surprised. I was reading the cast list, and I was like Justice Smith, Bridget Lindsay Payne, and then it goes Alina Howard, and then I saw Fred Durst. And I was like, "Is this the same Fred Durst from Limp
Wait,
Bizkit?" And it
it
is.
is? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Danielle Denweiler's in it too.
Yeah. I was like, Limp Bizkit Fred Durst is in a movie, so he's directed movies too, which aren't that good. But
do you know the John Travolta one?
The Fanatic? Yeah,
The Fanatic. Yes.
Yeah. Also crazy is that he's 53 now. I mean, they're like, it's so weird when there's people that you like grew up listening to or whatever, and they say they're gonna be like young forever.
Right.
And
yeah.
Like Fred Durst is not someone that I think of like as an older person, and I just saw his age right now. I was like, Jesus.
He still looks young at heart, though.
Yeah, definitely. Fred Durst. All right, now it's time to talk something exciting. We can talk box office.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say that that we were both excited and we did over predict what it was going to open with.
Yes,
but it's a good opening regardless.
Great opening for Dune Part 2.
Even though it did not reach our lofty goals.
To recap, last week we predicted Dune Part 2's opening box office. Tracking was very broad, which didn't really help our case. It was tracking anywhere between $50 to $125 million. So we both went high end. Your final guess was 105, and I went with 115. So you win this week as Dune Part 2 totaled 82.5 million. Am I right?
Yeah. It actually
so congratulations.
Came in a little higher than they thought it was. At first, they had it at I think 81, somewhere around there, but it had a higher than anticipated Sunday. 21.6 million versus 20.3 million was originally reported. Like they said too, they said pre-sales for this next weekend are still very strong because people want to see it in IMAX. This opening pretty much pretty much matched what Oppenheimer did over the summer. And the worldwide opening came in at 182 million, which I think the industry is just so excited that we have like a full on like box office like hit right now.
Definitely, and we needed one. It was dry first couple months of the year.
This is like the biggest opening for almost everyone involved except for Zendaya because she was in Spider-Man: No Way Home. And you know what's interesting too. Like I said, we're gonna figure out a way to discuss the movie in another episode. But I thought it was interesting that the director, and he seems like to be, the sentiment is the industry seems to think this, but he and so many words said that Timothée Chalamet, Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Zendaya. He basically were like, these are like they are the future of Hollywood. He really thinks that like if you're gonna put and maybe it's not fair to put this all on them, but they believe that they're not just like good looking kids. Like they care about like the craft and they really like they care not just about acting, but they care about filmmaking too. And these are people
Right.
like Zendaya. Zendaya's already a producer and stuff, so they want their hands in so many different hats. And I
Right.
kind of agree that. I mean, I know they're like saying it because they're all in this movie together, but it seems like even individually, they have what it takes to really. I don't know. We only have like Tom Cruise, right? That we say is like the last great like movie star, where it's like their name above the title can guarantee like some
Right.
kind of big box office. And it seems like that is what the direction that I almost say I call them kids, they're all in their 20s, but like, and Austin Butler's like 31, I think. um
Oh wow.
but it seems like that is where they're headed. Like they are, you know they were promoting this movie like crazy
Yes.
for weeks and weeks and weeks. They were everywhere. I mean, they were going from like overseas, back here, back and forth, just like doing. And they had them out the most promoting the movie. And they said what they noticed from this weekend, even though this is based on a popular novel that might cater to like an older audience. They said that they saw a lot of younger people going to see this movie this weekend. And sure, that could be a combination of like they are also into this kind of this sci-fi epic. But
Right.
I also think that that cast, particularly them, had a lot to do with uh generating even more interest than was already there.
Agreed. And it like props to all those people that were named. Like they've each of them has all been working with fantastic directors, picking good projects, kind of avoiding the junk and like sticking with
Yeah,
projects for either big ones or small ones and everything in between. Like just honest, Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya now both worked with Luca Guadagnino, which is
yeah.
some both put out some really good movies with that director. I think I agree. I like all four of them have really long, promising careers ahead of them. A few of them have already secured some Oscar nominations for themselves, and that's just that four core cast. Like that movie is stacked all the way through. It's got
Stats,
a very
yeah.
dense A-list cast.
I mean, it's crazy because like Florence Pugh, Timothy Chalamet, Austin Butler have all received Oscar nominations at one point. Zendaya hasn't, but she's won 2 Emmys and a Golden Globe for her TV work. So
Right.
essentially, she's the same league as. And it's so weird to think that like she was on the Disney show back in the day, and
Yeah.
then she did Dancing with the Stars early in her career. That's usually what you do when you're about to fall off. But and she came in like second place when she did it.
Oh,
And
I
then
did not
now
know that about her.
and now that she's they all have really. And now they're all anxious. Everyone really wants the third one. They said that the polling that the studio did after this opening weekend is that they really, really, I guess audiences really, really want a third film, like really bad.
Yeah,
And
we better be getting a third film.
and I
That's all
know
I'm gonna say.
that he wants to take his time with it, and I think he should, um, because you don't want to rush a good thing.
That's right.
Um, but I'll say this. We made comments about directors like, oh, I wish like they would go back and make smaller scale movies, blah blah blah. And then we even brought him up.
Yeah.
And after seeing this, I fully understand why he was given the reins to do it. And that is like epic filmmaking on a level that I don't think we've seen in a really, really long time. And I think
Well said.
it and it was really. And I'm seeing this opening weekend and seeing how well it did. I'm glad everyone seems to be responding to that. Like
Hmm.
it's like a lot of people have said like this feels like the first big epic movie since something like Lord of the Rings, since that concluded, like the original trilogy
Yes.
concluded. So I thought that was like an interesting comparison, and probably a really. And of course we've had big movies since then, but I don't
To this
nothing
scale
like
and this
this.
well done, I agree. I don't know. It's definitely, I think it's a great comparison.
Like I've never read the book, right? So I have talked to people who have, and a lot of them said that they thought, because David Lynch tried his hand at this in the 80s and it didn't really work out. Um, they all believe that the book was like not filmable, like it couldn't be made into a
Right.
movie. And the fact that he was able to do this and successfully do it, and uh and then was like, hey, I'm not going to try to cram this all into one movie. This is definitely going to be split. And that they trusted him to do that. I I don't know. There's certain movies when they perform well, box office wise, that you're just happy that they did well, and this is a good example of. I'm glad that like tracking was right on the nose. It's I still think it has potential to be $1 billion earner worldwide. Um, it'll probably play pretty well throughout the spring. I mean, I know there are other movies opening, but I think word of mouth will do a lot to keep this momentum going. That we
I
saw this opening
agree. I
weekend.
think there's been a starvation for a movie of this caliber for the last little, at least probably post Oppenheimer, and I
Yeah,
still think that even though it came in a little under our predictions, I think this movie easily has the over $1 billion legs for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
agreed. Sorry, we were just like gushing for a second because we
yeah. I
have
can't
we
wait to actually spew about Dune here in an
yeah
episode at some point.
in detail, yeah. But yeah, happy to see it. And now what we're faced with now with predictions is Kung Fu Panda 4 is opening, and
Yes, I have not seen any of the first three. I don't know about you.
I've only seen the first one, and yeah, and I don't have much to offer on. I can give you tracking.
Sure, that's
Um,
kind of what I judge most of my predictions on, anyway. So,
so it's tracking for a $50 million opening weekend.
okay.
Now what's interesting is I think Dune would have to have like a pretty good hold to top that. Um, they're like kind of comparing it to Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer fell 46% in its second weekend. Um, which would be that would if that was the case for Dune. Oh no, 42%. So that was like a $46.7 million second weekend.
Okay.
When Oppenheimer fell 43%. Now we would have to judge whether or not Dune Part Two will have a slimmer decline in weekend two than Oppenheimer did during the summer when most people
Right.
were like, more available to go see movies. So I would love I really wouldn't want this to be like a one weekend, like it's number one for one weekend, and then Kung Fu Panda knocks it to second. Um,
I don't get
but I
the I
also
don't have the impression that it will be. I think it's got legs. I think it's going to stick around. I still think it's going to be number one movie after this weekend for
okay,
sure. I don't think that Kung Fu Panda is out to dethrone it. I don't know what I wouldn't, have the knowledge to really guess a percentage drop, but I still think it's going to be raking in quite a few box office bucks. I still foresee it coming in first place again.
all right, I think so too. Like a part of me wants to give Kung Fu Panda like a 45,
Okay.
46, somewhere in
Okay.
there, and then give Dune the 50.
I agree
So
with you
like
with doing the
so
50.
so it's like a slight edge over it.
I'm going in a slightly lower for Kung Fu Panda at 42, just based on, it's got strong competition with Dune Part 2. It's the fourth
Yeah,
installment. I don't know. I don't have any knowledge as to where Kung Fu Panda 3 left off, if people are really clamoring for more, but I
clamoring
know
for another one.
I know there's a big villain from number 1 that's coming back. I don't know if it's being voiced by Ian McShane again, but he voiced um I don't know the character's name, but from the first one, the tiger, right? And I've seen
Yeah,
the
yeah,
voice work and there's some scenes for that, and it does seem quite strong. So I know that
yeah,
character is quite popular, but I don't know. That might have some hype amongst younger fans and fans that have grown up watching the first three. I don't really have a dog in
yeah.
that fight. I still think 42 is a great opening weekend for that movie, but yeah, I think Dune's taken some dollars from Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. So we're sticking with Dune Part Two being number one the second weekend.
definitely. Yeah.
That means it's gonna have some legs. So hopefully, guys go see it again and again and again.
I've seen it
Um,
twice now, and I would see it for a third time probably. Not maybe in
yeah.
the next couple weeks, but after a little bit, it's worth it.
By the way, another interesting fact: it had a $32 million worldwide IMAX opening. It's the seventh biggest global start for a movie in the large format, behind Oppenheimer and ahead of Avatar: The Way of Water. So
Wow,
also very
ahead,
interesting. Yeah.
impressive.
So yeah, everyone wanted to see it on the best screen possible,
Yeah,
and rightfully
100%. I
so.
wish I had an IMAX over here. I would probably be seeing it there as much as I could, but sadly, regular screen had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll ask you guys if you think Dune or Kung Fu Panda will end up being number one this weekend on our socials. But that wraps up episode 155 of Back to the Blockbuster, where we gave you our Oscar predictions, broke down some trailers, and discussed the box office performance of Dune Part 2. We will discuss the movie in more detail in another episode. Jackson had a fun kind of thing to do where we would watch David Lynch's Dune, which I haven't watched in so long. I think I was so young when I
You've
watched it.
seen it. Oh
Yeah,
boy,
but
I
I
have
was a
not.
kid. I was a kid, so I don't even remember all of
Okay.
it. So it'll feel like a brand new watch when I watch it again. Um, but we definitely want to devote some time to discussing that movie because it is the first big great movie we've seen this year so far.
Yeah.
So we really want to get that going. And then of course we also have our Cruel Intentions 25th anniversary episode that we were recording this week, so you'll be able to hear that soon. And then we were starting this month, we are going to let you choose one of the movies that we will be showcasing for their anniversaries. So you guys can help us pick because it's a stack month, and every month after March is stacked. So you're going to be helping us the rest of the year, pretty much with picking which one of these will be up for our anniversary rewatch and
We could
discussion.
use the help. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we definitely. It's been a struggle for Jackson and I, and it's a good problem to have. There's just a lot of movies on the list, and we wish we could do them all, but we can't. So at least you can help us out with one of them each month. So yeah, we are going to start that this month. As always, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods. But of course, we want you to check us out on the Playlist Studio app because they are our podcast network and they treat us very, very well. And we want you to treat them very, very well by getting their app from the iOS store or the Google Play Store if you have one of those naughty Samsung Galaxy phones. Other than that, man, always a pleasure discussing movies with you on a Monday. I know you got a jet, so talk to you soon. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Next time you guys hear us, we will be discussing the wins at the Oscars. So look forward to that episode next week, guys. Thanks again for tuning in and take care of yourselves.